The Story of the Thirsty Crow. Long ago, during a devastating period of dry weather, there was a thirsty crow who was desperate for a drink of water. The poor crow took flight and flew in search of a way to quench his thirst. He moved from place to place until finally, when he could fly no longer, he found a large jug of water at the base of a tree. Overjoyed, the thirsty crow pushed his black beak in to drink his fill. But, unfortunately, the neck of the jug was narrow. Try as he might, the desperate crow couldn't get his head far enough in. To his surprise, he realized that the water was beyond his reach. The thirsty crow screamed and flapped its wings in pain. He tried to knock over the jug, but to no avail. He was so heavy that his exhausted and dehydrated body could not budge. The crow was almost exhausted and ready to fly somewhere else. But then an idea occurred to him. Around the base of the jug were some small round pebbles. The thirsty crow picked them up one by one and dropped them into the jar. Repeatedly placed these stones inside. With each additional pebble, the water level began to rise. His idea worked. Finally, after a long effort, the water rose so high inside the jug that the clever crow was able to drink his fill and quench his thirst forever. And with the story of the thirsty crow, let us turn to its morality of the story of the thirsty crow. What can we learn from this short story of the thirsty crow? First, necessity is the mother of invention. In moments of difficulty, you have to rise to the challenge. Where there is a will, there is a way. When something important is at stake, it's up to you to defy the odds and snatch victory from the embrace of defeat. For the thirsty crow, who was so close to the water he needed, and yet he had to think outside the box to get the result he needed. There is another relevant lesson to be learned from this. Never give up. Or, if at first you don't succeed, try again. The crow didn't give up when things weren't going his way. He searched long and hard for something to drink. He did not collapse or resign himself to his fate when he realized that the water was out of his reach. He was not deterred when his first physical attempts to reach him failed. In the end, after trial and error, frustration and failure, he received his reward. Another moral of the thirsty crow is to use creativity and intelligence to solve your problems instead of excessive effort. Moral of the story of the thirsty crow. But this is not the only moral of the story of the thirsty crow. There's also something about using reason instead of force, reason instead of force, and working smart instead of hard to achieve your goals. This idea is almost taboo. After all, in a world that celebrates effort, activity, and hard work, it's tempting to tell yourself that the only way to succeed in life is to work yourself off the ground. It seems as if the process is painful. If it doesn't, you're doing something wrong, and you'll never get to where you want to go. I am 100% guilty of this approach to business, so I have to remind myself all the time that it doesn't always apply. You have to work hard for sure. Big goals involve a high degree of grinding. However, sometimes you have to pause and step back. Rest periods help you de-stress, avoid burnout, and muster your energy to return to work with renewed vigor. Furthermore, if you can achieve the same or similar result with a fraction of the effort, surely this is a better option. A good example of this is the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle, which states that 80% of outcomes tend to come from 20% of inputs. By focusing your efforts on those crucial few factors that contribute 80% of the results, you can achieve similar results with a fifth of the effort. The thirsty crow may not be using the 80-20 rule in this story, but he certainly solves his problem with a simple and inspiring solution. This speaks to another part of the story. This success is usually the result of creativity and critical thinking, as well as trial, error, and effort, not just good luck. Don't forget the short story, The Thirsty Crow. So there you have it, the insightful story of The Thirsty Crow. It's short and sweet, but full of useful lessons we should all learn, especially if you're going through a difficult time or desperately trying to achieve a goal. I hope you enjoy this clever crow and water story as much as I did. Do you have any questions or thoughts about the morale of the story of The Thirsty Crow? Leave a comment to let me know.